Uh, yeah, I like to wear this. Anyway, this is Teacher Maker 817, and today I am going to be discussing slash reviewing the Bleach Fullbring Arc. So this is going to be the Bleach Fullbring Arc overview slash review slash discussion, in which I discuss, well, the arc. Anywho, let's get into it because I have a lot to talk about, and I don't want to have this video be too long. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is pretty much give you a summary, for the most part, of how the arc went. The arc, the Fullbring Arc pretty much was, alright, first and foremost, it takes place like 17 to 18 months after the Alucrd saga, or in particular the Fate Karakura Town arc, or Fate Karakura Town War arc. You know, Aizen and stuff like that. So, Ichigo no longer has his powers, and we get to see him and his friends and family like 17 to 18 months grown up. We get to see the new Ichigo, the new Chad, Orihime, Uryu, Karin Yuzu, those two kids in Uehara Shop, Tatsuki, Keigo, and Mizuru. However, Chizuru is not in this arc for some reason, and neither is Kon. However, Kon does appear in the next arc, but I've yet to see Chizuru though. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. I'm not sure if Don Kanoji was in this arc either, but not that he was important. But I would like to see him again though. That Afro-headed Soul Reaper is in this. He's shown in the beginning of this arc, but he's not that relevant as as of in the arc anyway. So anyway, so you get to see them like 17, 18 months grown up, and the arc is pretty much, it starts off really slow. It starts off kind of like a slice of life, because we first get to see how Ichigo's life is without his Soul Reaper powers and without him being a Soul Reaper. In the beginning of the arc, he actually does, or at least it seems like he's enjoying not being a Soul Reaper and all that jazz. And Uryu has taken Ichigo's spot in dealing with the Hollows and Chad to some extent. However, Chad starts, you know, he starts to kind of fade out. You don't get to see him as much at some point. Or he may brings that up to Ichigo. I don't think he really thought much of it, at least at first. And so everything's kind of just going fine and everything until until events start happening, which is caused by a Fullbringer by the name of Tsukishima. He starts attacking Ichigo's friends. Ichigo also meets a guy named Ginjo Kugo who offers to give Ichigo his powers back. And he says he's part of this group called Execution. Ichigo refuses. However, after certain events happen, and in particular when Uyu gets attacked by this mysterious Tsukishima person, Ichigo decides to, I guess, give in to Ginjo's offer. He joins the execution. He goes and trains with these people, and they give him his powers back. And thus, of course, we're introduced to the Fullbringers. Hence the Fullbring Arc. Well, actually, from what I heard, the actual name of the arc is called the Lost Agent Arc, or the Lost Substitute Shigami Arc, something like that. It's one of those names. Anyway, so Ichigo, so we introduced the 7 Fullbringers in this arc. Well, I guess 9 if you want to include Chad or Hime, because this arc explains, well, at least it explains Chad's powers and where they come from. Now, as far as the Fullbring is concerned, Fullbring abilities come from their mothers. Their mothers were attacked by Hollows when they were pregnant with them, and the essence of the Hollows was, I guess, the ratio that was put in there was inserted into them, and they were born with powers, thus making them Fullbringers. And they activate these abilities through items that they have been given from special people in their lives, like Chad with his coin, and you have Orihime with her barrette. So they activate through those. Now we're introduced to seven other Fullbringers. Two of them that went rogue, the one that I mentioned before, Tsukishima, and his partner Mo. Tsukishima's power is, I think it's called a Book of the End, and it allows him to, he can pull a book, he pulls a bookmark out of his book, the Book of the End, and it turns into a sword, not a Zanbakuto, but a sword, and he can insert his essence into your memories. Pretty much, he can mind rape you and make you think you're his friend. It's really funny. Probably has like one of the most hacked Fullbring abilities or powers in Bleach period. Then you have Mo, whose power is he's called the Jackpot Kid because he pretty much has lucky punches. Like he can get a lucky punch and do like real damage. His powers are activated through his knuckles, and then you have the Fullbringers that Ichigo is working with. Ginjo, whose Fullbring is not really explained, but he activates it through his keychain or whatever that was, and he gets a Zanbakuto. Ruka's power is the power of a dollhouse, in which she can put people in the dollhouse, and actually it's kind of complicated to explain. Jackie's power is easy to explain. Hers is called Dirty Boots. The dirtier her boots get, the stronger she gets. Who else? Yuki, who has his video game powers. I call him the video game kid. A lot of people call him the Game Master ripoff from like Yu Yu Hakusho, which is funny because I haven't gotten to the arc where they said this arc was ripping off of from yet. I'm on the Dark Tournament, so I'm not up to that. So I'm not gonna really comment on that. But I think his powers are cool because he can like open like a video game dimension or whatever. And last but not least, you have Gurko, whose powers is I think it's called Time Tells No Lies, and he can pretty much start like a timer, and once the timer goes off, once it ends, you die. So he can pretty much control time. So Ichigo trains with these people. Tsukishima interrupts him while he's training. Ichigo tries to fight him and fails. Chad also helps Ichigo out with his training, but unfortunately him, Orihime, and the rest of Ichigo's friends and family wind up getting attacked by Tsukishima, as well as the execution members, leaving only Ichigo and Ginjo, and then finally Ichigo finishes his training, and then Ginjo reveals himself to be the main antagonist of the arc, thus making Tsukishima the secondary antagonist. And that the entire execution group was in on it, and that they were trying to steal Ichigo's powers to make themselves stronger. Ichigo, after they reveal this, Ichigo he actually falls out and cries. After that, Rukia shows up, stabs him with a sword, with the Zanbakuto, in the chest. He gets all the power of the entire 13 Core Guard squads. He becomes more, I guess, badass than ever, and now he has more. I'm not sure if he's stronger than he was beforehand, but he is stronger now because when he starts fighting Ginjo, his attack sends like a huge shockwave. Ginjo actually asks him with that against the potential. He's like, no, it's a practice swing. And then Ichigo actually uses his against the potential. That thing is so powerful, it knocks the clouds out the sky. That's how powerful that thing was. Some other Soul Reapers show up with Rukia, those being Reggie Abarai, the vice captain of Squad 6, Byakuya Akutsuki, the captain of Squad 6, Kenpachi Zaraki, the captain of Squad 11, along with his vice captain, Yachiru, the vice captain of Squad 11, Ikaku, the vice cap, the third seat of Squad 11, and who else? We're forgetting somebody. Oh, and Toshiro Hitsugaya, the captain of Squad 10. So that's all the people that showed up. So Ginjo divides the powers of Ichigo's Fullbring powers amongst the Fullbringers. Well, most of them. He does it for everyone except for Tsukishima and Mo. He didn't want to do it for Tsukishima because he didn't want him to get an OP power up because his powers are very OP, and he doesn't trust Tsukishima to. He thinks Tsukishima would go too far with this since he was already taking his power. He was already going too far with using his powers anyway, so Ginjo didn't think it was a good idea to do that. As far as him not giving it to Mo, I had no idea why. I guess it's because he was hanging out with Tsukishima too much. So anyway, then you had the fights that got set. You had to set up for the fights. You had Ichigo along with Uryu versus Ginjo. Although Uryu did not participate in the fight, he was just there for whatever. Because Yuki puts them all into like these different rooms in this game world. So yeah, you had Ichigo and Uryu in one room facing off against Ginjo. But it was a one-on-one fight, not a two-on-one fight. Jackie versus Renji, Rukia versus Maruka, Toshiro versus Yuki, and Byakuya versus Tsukushima, and Kenpachi versus Giriko. The first fight that goes down is Kenpachi and Giriko, and this is the shortest fight I've ever seen. Because Giriko's power up is that he can pretty much turn into the Incredible Hulk, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Kenpachi slices him in half, and the fight's over. I'm not even joking. If you look it up on YouTube right now, you can type it up. Bleach anime Kenpachi versus Giriko. It's less than 30 seconds. That's how that's how ridiculous that whole thing was. Then you had Jackie versus Renji. Jackie's power up is that she got like a motorbike on her shoulder. So because of her powers that she can, the dirtier her boots get, the stronger she gets. So she was able to put oil over her. So when she actually whiffed on an attack, it was actually able to destroy mountains. So she kind of like instantly became like a multi-mountain buster. However, that really wasn't an issue for Renji because he even uses Shikai to beat her. He first off he didn't even want to fight her because he doesn't really like fighting women, so he kind of let her get like the first hits. He dodged most of them. She only got him once. She kicked him, and then he stopped. He stopped like in mid kick or whatever. Well, actually, he stopped like getting thrown into the mountains. And then he pulls a sword, not even like all the way. He just stops her with like pulling the sword halfway through and subdues her. Then he tells her that he's been training, for from 17 to 18 months to fight Aizen. And I was like, when I first heard this, I remember I was like, huh? I was like, okay. I don't know why you're telling her this. I'm not sure if she even knows who Aizen is. I'm pretty sure she does, but because her face looked like she was a bit surprised when he said that, but was that really necessary? I was like, okay, whatever. Toshiro and Yuki's fight was pretty much like a game of cat and mouse. Their fight. What I did find kind of funny is that Toshiro used Yuki's what do you call it? He used issues with his parents against him, and then he subdued him, and then he forced him to 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 deactivate his power because it was either that or he was going to kill him. So he forced him to do it. Byakuya's fight and Tsukushima's fight. That fight was okay. It wasn't really anything amazing. And then you have the fight with Rukia and Maruka, which was a straight up troll fight, in which Rukia lost to Maruka, which was kind of stupid in my opinion because I felt there was no reason why she should have lost the fight, but I guess Kubo wanted somebody to lose a fight. I don't know why, but okay. I'm just saying, it was kind of stupid. It was really stupid. I think she could have beat her easily. I think the problem is that Rukia dicked around way too much, and plus, I don't think she really wanted to like fight her or kill her for that matter, because you can tell like Rukia and Renji they did not have like a killing intent when they fought them. Unlike the other Soul Reapers, they flat out had like a killing intent. Rukia and Renji did not have a killing intent in their fights, so they were holding back. Now, Ichigo's fight with Ginjo, oh my goodness. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't that good. And then you have Ginjo going Bankai through his Fullbring and him being able to use a Hollow Mask, which was kind of cool, but still, it was kind of like, huh? Oh, and then you have the other crap Ginjo was revealing. Like, for example, Ginjo apparently was revealed in this arc to be the first substitute Soul Reaper. And then he also revealed that Ukitake had orchestrated. He was the villain, that he was orchestrating like all the crap that was happening to Ichigo, whatever. Because apparently the substitute Soul Reaper badge, the Soul Society was using it to not only spy on Ichigo, but to reduce his power as well, which would explain why he got weaker as the series went on and why he had trouble with certain people, like in the Ronka saga, which actually makes sense now, because a lot of people are kind of complaining about that, like, how did he go from being able to, fight on par with Byakuya and Kenpachi to not even being able to fight a Grimjow and Ukiura. But Ukiura was actually legitimately strong, because that dude had like 2 releases, and those things were pretty OP. But still, it made more sense now that that was revealed. Anyway, Ichigo doesn't listen to him, so Ichigo kills Ginjo, and after that, Ruka releases Rukia, Tsukishima dies, Jackie and Yuki, I think they leave. Jackie no longer has her full-bring power because they deactivated after the fight ended. Renji saved her from dying though, but her powers don't no longer work anymore. So she lost her full-bring. I'm not sure if Yuki still has it, but oh yeah, it was a fight I forgot. Ikaku versus Mo, which was a fist fight. That was a decent fight. It wasn't like amazing, but it was a decent fight. And so everybody beat them. All the Soul Reapers left. After everything went down, the next day Ruka left. She might have or may have not committed suicide. We have no idea. The remaining and the remaining Fullbringers, they just left. Ginjo's body was taken to Soul Society. Ichigo goes to Soul Society. He goes not to ask the Soul Society about the stuff Ginjo brought up, but to ask the Soul Society to get Ginjo's body back so he can bury it in the world of the living. So he does that, and that's pretty much the end of the arc. Now I'm going to explain my issues with this, because I had a lot of problems with this arc, and I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities. One of the things I forgot to mention in the overview part of this video is the fact that Ichigo's younger sister Kari was actually becoming more spiritually aware since Ichigo lost his powers. That would be missed opportunity number 1. The non-development of Karin's powers. Personally, I would like to see both of Ichigo's sisters develop powers, but just one of them would be fine, because Karin was always hinted around to be stronger than Ichigo if she would ever develop like Soul Reaper powers or whatever. And we see her go to Urahara shop more. It doesn't go anywhere. Why? Because she gets mind raped by Tsukishima, so she instantly becomes irrelevant after barely halfway through the arc. Second missed opportunity would be Chad, because apparently this arc was about Chad. Because it was revealed in the interviews by Kubo that each of the major arcs and sagas are based around the main characters, and they're pretty much the theme of each of the arcs and sagas. For example, the Substitute Soul Reaper arc or Shinigami arc, the first arc of Bleach is about Ichigo. Second one's about Rukia, the Soul Society arc. The entire majority of the Aranka saga, with the exception of the Turn Back the Pendulum arc, is about Orihime. The Fullbring arc was supposed to be about Chad, and the Quincy arc / saga is about Uryu. Now, Chad was relevant for like the first half of this arc, and then he just becomes irrelevant the second half because he gets cut down by Tsukishima, and then he gets mind raped too. So he's pretty much casted off for the second time, really. It was like the second or third time he's been casted off. It's really ridiculous. It's worse this time around than it was in the Ronka saga, because this arc is supposed to be his theme. It's supposed to be based around him. Yet we don't really learn any more than we already knew about Chad. So we don't learn more about his backstory or his history. He doesn't really develop as a character. He doesn't gain any new powers. Nothing is accomplished with Chad. He's just there once again as a plot device to get Ichigo stronger and then tossed aside. And that's the other thing too. He wasn't even fully used as a plot device. He was there for like the first few moments of his Fullbring training, and then he just got tossed aside, like he was pretty much irrelevant. Because Chad joined this execution as well, but it went nowhere. And it's sad because, and even with the whole everybody getting mind raped, I felt that was kind of a missed opportunity too. Because what I would have liked to see was have Tsukishima like mind raped to the point where they would actually. What I would have liked to have seen would be like Ichigo and Uryu face off against everyone else. Like Ichigo had to fight Chad. Ichigo and Uryu have to fight Chad, Orihime, Tatsuki, and all of them. I think that would have been a really interesting match because I think that would be a lot more emotional because Ichigo is now facing against the people he loves the most, the people he's trusted. And I don't mean like no bullcrap fight. I mean like a serious like fight. I thought that was a missed opportunity. Another missed opportunity is the fact that we don't fully get to see Ichigo. Alright. The other missed opportunity I felt was the fact that I think this arc was a bit too short, which is funny because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna disagree with me because this arc went on for like a year, but I think this arc should have been a little longer. I know Kubo actually did say he wanted this arc to be longer, hence why there are certain things that kind of got cut out, which is obvious because you can tell that last part was rushed. But part of the reason for that is because Kubo doesn't really utilize his time because the way he lays out his chapters are bad because this is usually just big backgrounds, white spaces. Not much happens. There's not a lot of dialogue. The fights, when there are fights, are really drawn out. Training sessions are really drawn out. So, yeah, his pacing is not good. But anyway, the reason why I say it should have been longer because I think there should have been like a I think there should have been like a more of a transition from Ichigo actually wanting to become a Soul Reaper again and him wanting to and him like enjoying his life of not being a Soul Reaper. That's why I think it should have been split into like three parts. This arc, like kind of like being its own saga. Like the first part is about seeing Ichigo seeing Ichigo as just a regular human and him trying to enjoy his life now without being a Soul Reaper after being the Soul Reaper and having the spiritual awareness for so long. I think that really would have been interesting. I think that really would have given Ichigo some development. And I think this should have been the time when Ichigo actually really started to sort out what he wanted to do with his life. Because I remember Keigo asking him, what are you going to do with your life? Him and Tatsuki Tatsuki and Mizuru, they were asking him that, like, what are your plans? Because by this point, they're like 16. So they're like in their junior year, so they're starting to already think about they're like in their junior or senior year, I think it is. I forgot exactly which one it was. It's like around there. So they're thinking about what they're gonna do with their lives. All of them are starting to get jobs. Oh yeah, Ichigo we're introduced to Ichigo's boss, who apparently has spiritual awareness as well. At least from what we saw of the next arc of a certain event that happens there. So she may or may not have spiritual awareness. If she does, I hope Kubo actually does something with her. So yeah, I think this would have been a perfect time for Ichigo to like gain a goal or something because this is one of the biggest criticisms of his character is the fact that Ichigo has no goal or ambition of any kind. Because we really don't know what motivates Ichigo as a character to do what he does beyond him trying to protect his friends and family. Like I think he needs more than that. And this would have been the perfect time for him to sort it out. Like I understand him not being able to do that before because he just got thrown into everything essentially. and it was like event after event because first he becomes a Soul Reaper, then it was him meeting Rukia, then Rukia, and then you have the whole issues with him meeting a bunch of Hollows, including the one that killed his mother. Then you have the stuff with the Soul Society, and then you have the stuff with Aizen and the Aranka stuff. Now that Ichigo doesn't have that responsibility anymore, he could have actually really started to sort out his life, especially since he is getting close to graduating high school. Whether it would be like a year from then or a couple of months or so, like that would have been a perfect time for him to really start sorting out his life. Like that, that is one of the biggest missed opportunities of this arc. So yeah, that's how I would have had. I would have had that be like the first part, and then it end with the Tsukishima stuff with him injuring Udio and whatever. The second part be like the Fullbring training and have this as well as have you know the development with Chad and as as we learn more about Chad's character, his heritage, and actually see him develop as a character as well as get some new powers. And then the final part of the saga of the whole Fullbring stuff being the final confrontation with the execution, maybe. And that's the other thing too is I didn't like the fact that the execution or the Fullbringers that they all became pretty much expendable. I think that's how they say it. They pretty much got fodderized. I know, especially when it comes to a certain character like Veruca, a lot of people are expecting her to become like the next Nakama. Personally, I think all of them should have became the next Nakama. I don't see why not, especially now that you have Ginjo, Tsukishima, and Giriko in Soul Society training with Ganju. Yeah, remember Ganju from Soul Society arc? Yeah, he's back, so they're training with him now to fight the Quincy's. I was, they could have became like Ichigo's. They could have became part of Ichigo's group right there and then. I don't see why not. They would, and I would have had someone else be a threat or be like the main antagonist instead of the execution. Like them being the main antagonist, I didn't think was necessary. It just, especially considering how predictable it was. And you can see Kubo try to go for like a surprise. It was not surprising at all. Everybody and their grandmother, everybody and their grandparents were predicting that. I saw that coming from a mile away. That you know the execution was going to screw Ichigo over. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they were acting shady as crap. First and foremost, why were they trying to get Ichigo his powers back? I mean, what were they getting out of it? And their answer for that didn't really make any sense. So you can tell that they were shady. I already knew that one of two things was gonna happen: that they were gonna screw Ichigo over, and that they had their own agenda for trying to do it, or that they were working with Tsukishima. Really, I saw that coming a mile away. That's how predictable it was. And then you have, and then the fact that we don't really learn much about the Fullbrings. Like we get like, I think 1 or 2 pages of, they get like a few pages of their backstories, barely. Well, for most of them. Ginjo, we don't even get a backstory for him, and he's the one that needs it the most. We might get a backstory for him in this arc. I know a lot of people said that if he doesn't really matter anymore. Personally, I still want to know because I want to know why he feels the way he feels about, or at least the way he felt about the Soul Society, and I want to know just about him, period, because of the fact that he's, apparently the first substitute Soul Reaper and a Fullbringer. So I'm really curious about that, and I still want to know what his Fullbring power is. So, like, is his Fullbring power the ability to steal other people's Fullbrings or absorb it? Like, we need answers. And Kubo better reveal his backstory on his Fullbring power. He has to. If he does, I'm calling troll. I'm just saying. So I'm just hoping that happens. And I want to learn the backstories of the other Fullbringers if the other ones show up in this arc, in the Quincy arc, because we need to learn more about them too. So let's see, what else did I like? Oh yeah, the Soul Society. Them coming in this arc, I really had like mixed feelings about. Like when it first happened, I was fine with it because I was like, it was a sigh of relief because first off, I was happy to see the Soul Society again. Period. Because it was some time. Two, I wanted to, it was it was also a sign that the arc was coming to an end. But at the same time, I didn't like the fact that I'm sorry, I'm having like a hard time. But yeah, I didn't like the fact that the Fullbringers. I actually didn't like the fact that the Soul Society came in and just knocked all the Fullbringers out and just took them out. Especially when they brought like 3 captains. 3. Why? I remember someone saying that Rookie and Reggie would have just been enough. I agree with that. Like even like Brainy Kaku there was kind of like pushing it, like Ikaku and Toshiro. But then you're gonna have Kampachi there and Byakuya. I'm like, why? We'll also find interesting the fact that Rangiku and Yamachika wasn't there. But I guess it's because if they showed up, then they would have had to do double fights. Either that, or they would have to bring more Fullbringers in out of the woodworks because there wasn't enough people to fight. But they didn't need they needed Kampachi and Byakuya. In fact, I don't even think they really needed Toshiro. They need captains to be there. That was just overkill. Really, it was overkill. Overkill. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was just slaughter. It also felt like it was Kubo's way to say, "Oh, I'm done with this arc." And then you have the fact that Kubo said that this arc, he himself said this arc was pointless. That was like really facepalm worthy when I heard that. I was like, really? So you just wasted a year of our time? Especially considering this arc actually had potential to be a good arc. But he didn't develop the things that needed to be developed. And then you have Ichigo's, other friends who he didn't again do anything with them. They still didn't develop any powers. They still didn't develop as characters. Nothing happened with them. They were just there. Well, actually, they did help. They did bring up some questions to Ichigo, but that crap wasn't addressed either. So I was like, they asked like, what's Ichigo gonna do with his life? Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, we still got time to figure that out. Seriously? Seriously? So yeah, I was really annoyed with that. I really was. I was like, oh yeah, Tsukishima's ability. How does his bookmark turn into a sword and it's not a Zanbakuto? Okay, that was just nitpick. I'm not gonna go there. What I do have a problem with is the fact that this arc also contradicts the origin of Chad and Orihime's powers. Although this is not really that big of an issue because before this it was already retconned at least twice. But for what I've been hearing is that Orihime is not a Fullbringer. Even though that really, which really makes no sense to me because I think her being a Fullbringer makes a lot more sense than Chad being a Fullbringer because her powers are directly activated from her rest. Like, her powers screams Fullbring, but apparently it's not. So if that is the case, what's her power? And I didn't like the fact that she got tossed aside this arc too. That she had those missed opportunities with her character that she should have developed more. I did like the fact that she did develop a new move, attack move, kind of. But beyond that, he didn't do much with her. Like the only development she got was in her chest. Like seriously, those things are getting huge now. But yeah, that's what happened. Like I was really disappointed with the arc. I didn't really, and I felt like at the end Kubo just copped out, getting rid of all the Fullbringers like they were as if the arc never happened, pretty much. And then saying that the arc was pointless. So what's the point of reading it? If you already know what a Fullbringer is, there is no point of there's no point of reading or watching this arc. You can literally just skip it, and you will not really be missing anything. Besides Ichigo's new Shikai and Bankai designs, which by the way isn't even permanent because Ichigo loses that too later on. So so it really doesn't even matter. Oh, Ichigo's Fullbring powers. What is it? I don't think that was ever explained, and I'm surprised no one has brought that up yet. Out of all the videos I've seen on YouTube that discuss the Fullbring arc, I don't think I've seen anyone that's brought that up about what's Ichigo's Fullbring. Because a lot of people just ask what Ginjo's Fullbringer power is, and how did Jirko's power go from time to him being able to turn to an Incredible Hulk, which again makes no sense. Like it really doesn't. But yes, what is Ichigo's Fullbring power? I want to know. I saw his design of his Fullbring, but that doesn't tell me what his Fullbring power actually is. Unless his hollow form is his Fullbring power. But then again, now if that is what his Fullbring power is, that's gonna be really cheap. Just saying. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and actually that's not it. There's one more thing I gotta address. Oh, two more things. What was the point of Jinsei and Uru being in this arc? Because we seen them at the beginning of the arc, and then boom, nothing with them. And since Ichigo is technically a full-bred, what about Kara and Yuzu? Wouldn't they be full-breds too? Do they have the same powers as Ichigo? Are their powers different? Although this question is pretty much irrelevant because I'm pretty sure Kubo's not really going to do anything with them, unfortunately. If he does do anything with them, it's going to be at the end of the series. I already see that now. I already see that now. Because we've only seen them, like, I think twice in the Quincy arc. So, yeah. And what a crap is Chizuru, seriously. It's really annoying me. I know a lot of people. I'm not sure how many people really care about her character. But besides the fact that I actually do legitimately like her character, she just disappeared without any explanation. This is something else that happens in Bleach a lot that annoys me, is that you will have characters that just come in and out of the series and without any explanation, it just happens. So where is she? Although I'm not sure why I'm even asking this, because even if she does come back, not like she's gonna do anything. But apparently she has spiritual awareness as well, so I don't know. That's like asking where Cone is. Well, actually, we already got been shown where Cone is, but yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I don't think there's anything else I need to say. I think I pretty much addressed all the issues I felt that needed to be addressed. So, because this video is already almost 40 minutes, so I'm going to probably just end it here. This is my Fullbring Arc overview slash review slash discussion. As far as what I would rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 5 out of 10. Yes, I know that's shocking. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. Maybe a 4. Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Giving it a 5 out of 10 is really pushing it. So yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 10. It's a okay. It's mediocre. It's not terrible. A lot of people say this is the worst arc. I disagree. I still think Fake Karakura Town is worse than this arc. Again, wasted opportunities. Like this actually could have been like one of the best arcs in Bleach, but you know, Kubo wasted way too much time with trivial crap and then didn't do anything with the stuff we that should have been dealt with. And Yoruichi isn't in this arc. I'm just mentioning that right now. We do get to see the visors at the end of the arc that, and it's been revealed that Shinji, Rose, and who's the other one? Kensei have become captains once again and have captains of the squads that they used to be captains of. Love, Love and the other visors are still in Karakura Town. So that's that. That's pretty. All right, that's the end of the video. Rate, comment, subscribe. I know this video was a long time coming. I wanted to do this a while ago, but I didn't have the time to, so I'm doing it now. So enjoy your day, and if you want to make a video response to this, you can. Well, this is actually a video response to another video anyway. So yeah, rate, comment, subscribe, do a video response if you want to, and have a good day.